Welcome to this Waterway Recovery Group Canal camp. Canal restoration is really rewarding, but sites can be dangerous places to work, even for experienced volunteers. Under the Health and Safety at Work Act, every person involved, including volunteers, has a responsibility, not only for their own safety but the safety of others around them. This video will make clear the responsibility and requirements you need to be aware of to ensure a safe and enjoyable experience. Before you can go on site, you must have a safety talk or induction, have read the Volunteers' Health and Safety Guide and signed the declaration agreeing to follow the site leader's instructions at all times. Please note that if a volunteer fails to respect these, they will be given one firm warning before being asked to leave. Volunteers must be fit for work and not under the influence of alcohol or drugs, nor consume any on site. Every project has a site leader who's responsible for assessing the risks, supervising the work and collating all information, including health and safety, into the project plan. This is taken on site every day, so make sure you know where it's kept so that you can refer to it if you need to. For each job you undertake, the leader will have prepared a method statement or task sheet explaining how the work will be carried out safely, and a risk assessment identifying possible hazards and the control measures in place. If you need further information, ask your leader or refer to these documents. Toolbox talks may also be used to explain a task or a particular risk on site. These talks are all about sharing best practice, making sure that the site is safer and that everyone understands the task or a risk. Safe working practice is vital. If you don't know how to do a task, don't copy someone else. Stop and seek advice. Talk to your leader about how you can learn to do it properly. Never work alone. Always ensure that you're within eyeshot and earshot of others. And if you leave the site, let your leader know. When it comes to tools, you should always use the right tool for the right job. Tools and equipment should be in good working condition. If they're not, or if you break something, please report it. Only use tools and equipment that you've been trained on. Avoid excessive usage of vibrating tools, such as breakers and brush cutters. If a task uses a repetitive action, take plenty of breaks to prevent injury or strains. If you're lifting heavy objects, use the correct manual handling techniques. But don't try to lift or manoeuvre anything that's too heavy for you, as it's easy to hurt yourself. When you're finished with a tool or equipment, clean it and put it away. The same goes for materials, which must also be stored safely. It's really important to keep the site tidy, because a safe site is a tidy site. Volunteers are required to wear safety footwear on site, and you won't be allowed on site without them. Each volunteer will be given their own personal protective equipment (PPE) pack before going on site. Depending on the work you're doing, this might include high-vis vests, hard hats, safety spectacles or goggles, dust masks, ear defenders and gloves. The PPE provided is only basic protection for simple site work, and some tasks may require additional safety equipment which will be supplied. If you're concerned that someone around you is not wearing the correct PPE for the job, do tell them. It's in their own interests. You may come across all sorts of machinery and vehicles on your canal camp, including dumpers and excavators. It's important that the use of machinery and vehicles is safely managed, and as part of this, WRG runs a driver authorisation scheme. This means volunteers who have been trained on machinery and vehicles will carry a driver authorisation card, confirming their status in the scheme. and anyone, including other volunteers, can ask to see this card. Safety around moving vehicles is the responsibility of both pedestrians and operators. Some vehicles have limited vision, so the operator might not be able to see you. Always ensure the operator has seen you and signalled for you to continue. Take note of a vehicle's crush zones. Moving vehicles and pedestrians should always be kept apart on site, and you should keep clear of a machine's working zone. Before undertaking any task, machine operators must read the relevant method statement and discuss the site-specific risks with the site leader. It's essential to make sure that machinery and vehicles are well maintained and to perform safety checks before use. When you've finished, please put the keys back in the central place allocated by the leader. There are lots of different hazards to think about on a canal, and every site is different. Your leader will tell you about the specific risks associated with your site, but here are some common issues to be aware of. Often volunteers will find themselves working at height, and all measures should be in place to prevent a fall, however big or small that height may be. If you're concerned with any of the control measures in place, please stop work and inform the leader immediately. Slips, trips and falls can happen anywhere on site, in the accommodation, or even just walking to the van. Wear appropriate footwear and take care when walking on uneven or wet surfaces. If you see a spillage, clean it up or arrange with a leader for it to be cleaned up. Play your part. If you see items on the ground that people could trip over, remove them and make the situation safe. You might be exposed to certain hazardous materials, all of which should be detailed in the project plan. These include things such as lime, cement, petrol and diesel. Control of substances hazardous to health, or COSH, risk assessments are kept in the project plan. Prepared using material safety data sheets, they provide details about the hazards that these chemicals pose and give advice on handling, storage and emergency measures. Care must be taken when using fuel on site. Always use a funnel and make sure you have a spill kit readily available to clean up any spillages and leaks when refuelling plant, generators or other machinery to prevent it soaking into the ground or entering a watercourse. And of course, be aware of the fire risks from fuel or combustible materials. Particular care must also be taken when working in and around water. There are risks such as hypothermia and drowning, but it's also important to be aware of unseen risks like Weil's disease. Symptoms are flu-like and in severe cases can cause serious health problems. So take precautions, cover broken skin when working near water or mud, and if you do come into contact with potentially toxic water, wash the affected areas immediately. Many sites are along public rights of way, and it's important that we protect members of the public. If you see any unauthorised people on site, you should report them immediately to your site leader. We want you to enjoy your time with us. In order for the leader to plan suitable activities for everyone, it's important that you let them know if you have any medical conditions, if you take any prescribed medication, or require additional support. The leader also needs to know what to do should you be taken ill. Any information will be kept confidential. When you arrive on site, you'll be told where the first aid equipment is kept. If you need to use anything from the kit, make sure you report it so it can be replaced. Should there be an incident, accident, or even a near miss, you must tell the site leader. Accidents or incidents must also be reported using the accident book, and near misses via the near miss postcards, which are all found in the flight case. It's only by understanding what's happening that safety can be improved. The site leader will take you through the procedure to follow should there be an emergency, including how to contact the emergency services. It's easy to get engrossed in your work on site, so don't forget to look after yourself. It's easy to become dehydrated in hot weather, so drink plenty of cold drinks and protect yourself from the sun and the heat. And keep warm during cold, damp days. Sites are pretty dirty places, so take particular care with hygiene practices. Always clean your hands before eating, and if you have an upset stomach, don't prepare food or drinks for others. And although facilities might be basic, make sure food is kept cool or heated through thoroughly before eating. Health and safety planning is not just a box-ticking exercise. It's a really important part of making sure that everyone's experience is safe, productive and fun. Waterway Recovery Group is dedicated to making sure all their sites are safe places to be. And by following the instructions in this video, you can play your part.